Yeah.
Let's start with at GM118. Start again. At GM18 Lewis. Zach Wilson almost lost his starting job last year. Does the fact that his play improved dramatically this season, playing a weaker than normal BYU schedule due to COVID-19, bother you at all?
No, it does not. You know, listen, we're going to, first off, I'll hit the competition thing first. I think it's a little overblown. You know, there's too many quarterbacks through time here that have succeeded playing average college competition. Like I said, when you're under pressure, you're under pressure. You know, no, I know it's going to be different in the NFL and all of those type of things, yes. But throwing in the closed quarters and having to still be able to throw the ball accurately or with power, that to me translates to the NFL, okay? All right, you know, throwing in the tight windows or coverage, yeah, it's going to be different receiver and better talented DBs. But those are things that are very easily learned. Like, okay, the speed's a little different. I got to lead this guy, you know, 6 inches more than I used to my old receiver at BYU. That I don't look at that. You know, and again, you know, we wouldn't have a lot of the great quarterbacks we got, whether that's Josh Allen, Phil Simms, Terry Bradshaw, Joe Flacco, Big Ben, University of Miami. Whoa, was that competition that special there? No, it was not. So I don't look at that as being a make or break thing. Now, going back to the other thing, he played well the year before. It wasn't great. Then he got hurt a little bit at the end of the football season, too. They opened up the competition. From everything I know about that, it was like, yeah, we opened up the competition. They expected him to win, but they weren't just going to give him a free pass. He got bigger, he got stronger, and then he did all the right things to fight that adversity that I like.
It is.
Let me just say last thing before we go there.
Yeah.
And don't put these college coaches so much on a pedestal like they know what the hell they're doing. I mean, Pittsburgh kept Tyler Palko over Joe Flacco. Georgia kept I can't throw a ball Jake Fromm over Justin Fields. Urban Meyer, or no, not Urban Meyer, Ryan Davey and company, or no, it was Urban Meyer too, right? They chose Dwayne Haskins over Joe Burrow. So don't think just because they are making millions of dollars and they're the head coaches that they always know what the hell they're talking about at every guy, too. We got to take that into account as well.
But it is fair to bring up because it is very unique to have a guy a year ago who had to win his job back.
Right.
With the kind of talent that puts him probably up to the number 2 pick in the draft.
Yep.
Even if the coach, I don't even know the names, even if the coach isn't the best in the country, wouldn't they be able to recognize that kind of talent and say, this guy's starting no matter what, we got to figure it out?
Well, again, I don't know what the overall issue was there. I can't speak to that. I mean, that's where I'm I'm in a little bit of a disadvantage. I wish I could tell you more there. But I can tell you in going back and watching some of the 2019 stuff, there's still throws and plays where I go, there's nobody that throws like this.
Right.
And he's only gotten better. And I don't look at it as, again, I'm not huge into like, oh, let me look back 2 years from now with a growing boy who's becoming a man and improved his game to think, oh, he's going to revert back to what we saw in 2018 or 2019. I just don't look at it that way, or I don't put as much stock into it, I guess, as maybe everybody else. So I guess that's my 2 cents there. But there was still plenty of good, and then he answered those challenges.
He did.
With blue stars, blue ribbons, whatever the hell you want to call them.
Couple of questions here. I'm not going to cite any one person. I'm just going to ask you about it because it's come up quite a bit. You addressed the fact that he had to win his job back, maybe, or to whatever level that's true.
Right.
How about this one, the torn labrum? This comes up a lot.
Yeah.
Does that injury bother you?
It does.
That he had last year.
Yes. I mean, it does, but there's nothing to say it should bother me.
It didn't look like it was bothering him in the film.
That's what I mean. Nor does the results look like it. Oh, you mean the guy with the most explosive arm in the draft? I mean, hey, listen, like I said this, and I said this a lot. Like, I had this conversation a little bit with my dad over the weekend. If you lined up Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson and said, throw the ball absolutely as hard as you can, I bet you Trevor Lawrence could probably throw more miles per hour on it. But I don't know if he can and be consistently accurate and be in all in the weird positions. And, oh, you can't step into this throw. And, oh, you got to jump and get 2 feet off the ground and do all that. I don't think he can throw it as hard as Zach Wilson in those positions, let alone the accuracy. Right. Zach Wilson can continue. Let's just say Trevor Lawrence's fastball, his absolute fastest is 105, right? Let's say Zach Wilson's is 101. Well, Zach Wilson can do all those weird things in those weird positions and still throw 99, 100 and paint corners and do those things.
Right.
Where Trevor Lawrence, no, there's going to be, and I love this, and this is where there's some improvement that can be had and there's untapped potential. But if you ask him to rip it every time like that, he's going to miss. And it's going to be, whoa, ball outside. Whoa, ball outside. There's a lot of good, don't get me wrong, but I don't see anything on film to make me scared of the Zach Wilson, the labrum thing or anything like that.
I don't think there's a quarterback coach around, NFL or college, that wouldn't sacrifice 5 or 6 miles per hour of speed for better anticipation and better accuracy.
Sure.
Like you brought up.
Right. And I'm not saying, again, Trevor Lawrence is worthy of the number 1 pick. He can do all of those things. Well, all I'm saying is Zach Wilson's special at it from that standpoint. And bottom line is, no, I'm not necessarily concerned about the torn labrum. Not at this age and where he's at and what I saw on film.
Right.
Yeah.
It does bring up an interesting point about this year's process without a combine, a follow-up combine about the medical, because you know that would have been addressed in so many different ways.
No
and this
doubt.
year, I mean, how are they going to get okay with that question? I guess they just have to watch his film and say, you know what, it doesn't look like his shoulder hurts too much.
Right. And I would think at some point, you know, they're going to get into some visiting teams, I would imagine. I mean, the rules are getting loosened up here all across the country to where he's going to get into the teams that are serious about him. They're going to get him to the doctors they need to get to and figure it out from there.
So here's the money question. This came in a number of different ways, but this one sums it up well. Valley Boys Sports. Chris, be honest. If you're Trent Baalke, GM for the Jaguars, are you really taking Zach Wilson number 1 overall?
I mean, I think Zach Wilson is better than Trevor Lawrence. Yes, I do. Trevor Lawrence is certainly the safer pick. You know, I don't know. Trevor Lawrence, would I say, okay, if we had to measure floors, I'll go, yeah, his floor is higher than Zach Wilson. You know, because of his size, that's a great attribute that he has. You know, his ability to throw over people and do things like that. Like, I can't imagine Trevor Lawrence being a bust. Like, I don't. I think it's like as worse as it could get is like, oh, he's a number 11 quarterback in football or the number 12. Now, I don't envision that with Zach Wilson, but okay, with the size and the injuries and things like that, you know, all right, maybe his floor is a hair lower, but I think his ceiling's higher. That's where I get into. I think his ceiling's higher than Trevor Lawrence's. You know, that's different than how I felt as compared to Herbert and Tua last year. Now, and the other aspect that goes into this, you know, is I think the way Urban Meyer is going to run his offense and things like that, I think it's going to be Trevor Lawrence's style. I do. I don't think it's going to be we want a guy to drop back and be Aaron Rodgers and pick you apart because our system's good and we got, you know, we know you can make all the right throws like Mahomes and Josh Allen. No, I think it's going to be more of predicated on a little bit of the quarterback run and wide receiver screens and running back screens and, fake the wide receiver screen and now we throw the go up the sideline. All the things you saw Trevor Lawrence do in college, all I've ever seen Urban Meyer's offenses do throughout time. So I'm expecting him to be the number 1 pick, okay? But no, I like Zach Wilson. I don't know any other way to say it. But if you made me bet, I would bet you that they take Trevor Lawrence number 1.
Let's look at this situation if we can. It's kind of a juxtaposition here, but we're talking about the Jags, but let's try and think of in the abstract too, because I don't want to call any one person out. How often do you think it happens where a GM, a team is facing a giant pick like this in the draft, and it is a safer pick to take the guy that everybody thinks is going to be awesome? And they all think this, what if this doesn't work out? What if it doesn't work? If Zach Wilson didn't work and they took him, people are probably going to get fired. If Trevor Lawrence doesn't work out, the one they were supposed to take,
no doubt,
it's disappointing.
Safer.
Sets them back, but they probably keep their jobs.
Well, yeah, because they can go, well, everybody had him number 1.
That, and I sensed it when I was working all those years covering the draft at NFL Network. Do you think that's a real thing that GMs deal with?
100%. 100%.
That's not just perceived.
No, it's not perceived. There's going to be, if they were even thinking about it, they're going to think, that's going to be one of the first things they're going to think. Wait, if we took Zach Wilson and it didn't work out quite the way, even if he got hurt again, people are going to go, well, he got hurt in college. Why would you do this? This guy right here played major college football. So there's no doubt they're going to think about that.
Safer.
It's safer. That's where it's safer. I understand that. I get that. So, and I do think that Urban Meyer took the job thinking he was going to take this guy all along, right? So that's part of it as well. And we'll see where it goes. You know, again, I don't know what the overall outlook of Urban Meyer's offense is going to look like, right? They got Darrell Bevell up there. So I would think you're going to see a combination of things Urban's done throughout his career and a little bit of Darrell Bevell and all of that. Now, if it was just going to be purely Darrell Bevell's offense, I would almost go, Zach Wilson's going to fit it better than Trevor Lawrence.
What's Darrell's offense? How are you
Well,
defining
Darrell's
it?
is like it's West Coast light. You know, he came from Green Bay back in the days with the Favres and the Rodgers. You know, so that's where Zach Wilson and that kind of offense is he's going to pick people apart. But I don't think that's what they're going to do. I don't think that's going to be their offense. It's not going to be about we're going to surgically destroy you 5, 10, 15. Oh, Zach Wilson rifled down the middle because he surgically got you all over the 5 and 10 yard passes, and now he aggressively throws a laser down the field and do that. To me, I don't expect to see that in Jacksonville, nor do I think that Trevor Lawrence is nearly as ready to orchestrate or run an offense like that as compared to Zach Wilson. That's where I'll say it's different too.
One more on Zach Wilson. Yeah. And I had this one circled since this morning when I printed this out. This is from @MetroG10. If you are the Jets and they have the second overall pick in the draft, would you trade Deshaun Watson for Zach Wilson? Pardon me. Would you trade for Deshaun Watson or would you draft Zach Wilson?
Right. My heart of hearts, I want to say, take Zach Wilson. You got all these picks. You got a chance to really build something on the offensive side of the ball and have some young receivers and a young offensive line and some we'll see what they do at running back to where they could grow and really form a nucleus and have a special unit, you know, a few years from now. Deshaun Watson with that right there, hey, listen, I know he's awesome, but they're probably going to have to trade other things out the door, too, to do that, which is going to hamstring their ability to complete the full team and all of that as well. So it's a good thought, certainly, but it's all dependent on what's going to be asked, I guess, to get Deshaun Watson. You know, as much as I love Zach Wilson and all that, Deshaun Watson is a top 5 quarterback. It's a proven commodity. We know what he is.
They have real draft capital in New York.
I know. They got all these picks. They certainly can. But just like we've talked about a lot, they got a whole bunch of issues on their roster. I mean, they got one of the biggest off seasons in front of them compared to anybody in football. They need to improve their offensive line. They need a running back. They need receivers. They need a pass rusher. They need corners. They need safeties. I mean, you go through the whole thing. I mean, they need a lot of stuff. So that's where I get into, okay, yeah, I like the Deshaun Watson idea, but what are you going to have to give up for it? And with as many holes as you got to fill, now you get Deshaun Watson and you go, well, crap, we still got a lot of holes to fill, and we just gave away some of our ability to fill them.
One more Jets question. Yeah. Would you drop down to 8 if Carolina wanted to come up to 2 and take whatever picks they're going to give you and say, you know what? We'll get our quarterback at 8.
Well, or they could maybe if they decide that they want to sit with Sam Darnold and go with that, that's certainly a possibility. Okay, but then who is that quarter? They got to make sure they love that next quarterback if they want to do that. Whoever if they're in love with Mac Jones and do that, okay. I mean, then that makes sense. You know, but I don't know. You're also leaving that opportunity of somebody else to jump you now and maybe get up in there. I understand that thought too, but I'll just say again what I said last week. I just have a hard time thinking, all right, with what you see from Zach Wilson, the offense they're about to run. The new offensive coordinator is Mike LaFleur. His brother is Matt LaFleur, and he has a quarterback that has those Zach Wilson traits and the way he plays as an Aaron Rodgers. And they've lost 6 regular season games in 2 years, okay? And I just look at that and go, man, Zach Wilson's made for that offense. He's made for it. The Shanahan-LaFleur system type thing. And that's where I love it, and that's where if I'm them, I'm running up to the podium.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.